Hello, everyone, and welcome to another scene for Sept of the Howling Winds, a Werewolf the Apocalypse venue set in San Diego, California. In this scene, we have another new arrival that is making their way to the Sept. And yeah, we'll open the scene with that character's howl of introduction.
So Lucia's gonna walk up to the edge of the sept and pause to do his howl. I am Lucia Morgenstern, Homid born to the Get of Fenris under a full moon and Cliath of the nation.
Don't everybody jump at once.
Emil will howl back. Emil will howl back. Sun sees you. We'll be there soon.
Darcy heads that way. He's not a guardian, but he figures, oh, well, I can get to meet the new people.
Emil wonders what the fuck his warder's doing. Thanks, warder, and all the guardians.
I mean, Aiden's going there. She's just not saying anything right now.
We're having a conversation fucking later, aren't we now? I had to yell at my own character, apparently.
Don't you love when you get to do that?
Great.
Aiden knows his way. She just doesn't say anything.
Tova is curious about a new Get of Fenris entering the Sept, so she's going to make her way that way as well.
So, Lucia, is that it? Yes. He'll make his way to the new Fenrir. What your character sees as he approaches is he's a sort of man who owns his presence. Very dignified in carriage, and yet still has a very savage edge to him. He's quite clearly Fenrir, moves with a beautiful grace in his step. And he'll come near to the newbie. Kind of a quiet smile on his face.
Lucia would look upon Emil and kind of lower his head with a respectful sort of half bow and introduce himself. Hello, I am Lucia, and who are you?
I'm Emil Rose, the Alpha of the Sept. I am an elder of the Fenrir. He has a French accent.
A pleasure to meet you, Emil.
A pleasure to be called Emil. Jesus Christ, he didn't call me honored elder. Yay, I love you.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, Darcy's like, you can call him Raya. Thumbs up.
Not too far behind, Aiden comes. He smiles at Emil. Well, that is your name. Just saying.
Are you sure? I thought my name was Ria.
I mean, people call you that enough, right?
Or, oh God, please stop.
So, as Emil says that, Tova walks up and her brows go up like, what?
He goes, like claws his hands.
She just laughs.
Darcy's like, so can I cleanse you? This is like in his mind. He's like, I am cleansing him.
My God, how ironic is this fucking shit? Like, yeah.
I'm sorry. There is a comedian. His name is Dimitri Martin. He says the easiest way to creep everybody out is by adding the word "ladies" to the end of everything you say. That was the equivalent, what you just did there.
Hello.
Do you want me to cleanse you?
Do you want me to cleanse you?
Adelheid,
Damn it, Vincent Price, calm down.
Adelheid was arriving saying like hello, and then like when he hears Amelia, he says like hello, ladies.
Oh my fucking god.
Darcy flips his
Emil
hair
just-
back and he's like, "Thank you."
Tova just shakes her fucking head. Oh god.
Hi everyone.
Oh, hey, haven't seen you before. As he looks to Tova.
Tova and Tolia are probably the two most polar opposite people on this step, so that was funny.
Right? Absolutely. So good.
Yeah, he'll look to Tova. Haven't seen you before.
She nods. I've been keeping to myself mostly. She has an accent that I will not attempt to do. It is a anyone who speaks Finnish would recognize it as that type of accent. Otherwise, it's kind of not discernible. It's a weird one.
Yeah. Darcy's probably heard it because he's learning a lot of languages.
Mhm. Like, if anybody who's well versed in linguistics would at least recognize it as a Scandinavian accent. So, but I will not attempt to do this one. But just know that she speaks with that kind of accent, and she'll say, "Yes, I've been keeping to myself mostly. I am Tova Vertanian, Theurge of the Geta Fenris, and Adrian. I am twin to Elias Nilsson, the Great Jarl."
And he'll nod. Ah, okay. And he'll
She
nod
is
and
the daughter of one of my packmates. Emil will say.
She nods.
nod.
Yeah, that too.
She's
And
twin
looking-
of my mentor.
I imagine while this is going on, Darcy's cleansing Lucia.
Yes.
Which is fucking hilarious, but sure. Go on.
I find it ironic as fuck, and I love it. It's so good.
Lucia would have reacted to Darcy's "Can I cleanse you?" with like brows raised, with just because of the tone it was said in. Like, okay,
May I
Hello.
cleanse you?
like hello.
And he'll look. Aiden will look both to Tova and Lucia. Hi, hey, hello. I'm Aiden Petrova. Cool the Heart to Dance. I'm a child of Gaia. Born on the 2 legs, and currently undergoing my challenge to become a foster.
I am dying inside because of the way you're speaking right now. That is the best challenge I've ever seen leveled.
Wow.
It's so hard.
let me just
How
pat
hard is it?
myself on the
Tell
back
me
real
how hard
quick.
it is.
Out of character. Like,
Just how hard is it? Just
How hard is it?
Really hard. I can't.
oh, this is
Is it
Tova will laugh at Aiden. This is beautiful.
enormous?
Aiden, you forgot to mention you're a part-time ragabash.
Actually, that's part of my challenge. Not right now.
Aiden, why do you look so stiff?
He'll get some duct tape out and just put it in, like duct tapes his mouth, and then he can't talk.
This is the way I prefer you, Aiden.
Thumbs up.
Backwards comes walking into the scene. Currently has his jacket over his suit jacket over one shoulder. His tie is loosened, and he looks rather tired. Aiden, tell me it isn't true.
It Haven't you heard the rumors? Here Shariah blessed us with her blessed her with her wits. He says it's the backwards compatibility. I'm sorry for being unable to pronounce that. I apologize.
Backwards just gives a shrug of his shoulders. I'm sure Aiden here is going to survive, he says, patting him on the back.
He probably smiles, but there's duct tape there, so it's kind of hard to notice. And actually, he'll take a selfie and send it to Saoirse going, "This isn't cheating, is it?"
She thinks about that for a moment before she sends back, no. Just no.
So he looks at you and
Darcy taps his lip. He's like, you know what? Because he kind of leans over and sees the message. And he's like, I think it's more of a gift than anything. And he pats his shoulder.
He'll flip Darcy off.
Camille just looks over and with the most breathtaking little face says, "I'm so glad to see he got their eyes out."
You're awful.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. What? What?
You're awful.
I am having trouble. Put his finger in his ear.
I'm sorry.
Should I?
You'll have to speak
Tova,
up.
Tova will look to Aiden and she'll say, "Should I bind a spirit of silence to you?" She's
Okay.
only
It may
half
last
joking,
longer
by the way.
It may last longer than a week, though.
Adeline actually says like there's that option, and there's the option of like asking punches to punch you. Like you go out 8 hours straight. It's a good sleep. So like when you want to take a break from life, you just go to him and say, "Can you punch me?"
He'll
That may
take
be
a pen
another
out.
option.
He takes a pen and paper out and says, "Right, as fun as this sounds, I think the duct tape will do for now."
You know, Adelheid, it sounds like you're speaking from experience, and that's interesting.
It's been 6 months. No, actually, no. It's been 4 months.
Wow. He just gives him a thumbs up.
He nods. Every day. Not a miss single day, yes. And he actually turns to Lucia, I think. I don't know how to say that name. I apologize.
Lucia.
Lucia, okay. Hi, I am Adelheid Trimminson. Foster and Getafener Saroon. Deeded Lost Smile and Thronebreaker.
Pleasure to meet you, Adelheid. I'm Lucia. Get a Fenris.
Adelheid smiles and nods. Another one. That's quite nice.
I guess I should.
Oh.
I guess I should introduce myself because I kind of was a little quiet there. I'm Darcy Savadra. He smiles. Shields the kinfolk.
I've been waiting for this. Emil just puts his hand to his mouth.
I have been too. I've been waiting.
Keep going. Emil just says, "Keep going."
Just skip.
I want to see him with a straight face.
Like, are you gonna keep going? Come on.
I'm a Hamid Philodox, a fostered rank. I'm also a Black Spiral dancer. He taps his lip.
Tova inhales a breath. Like,
Aiden just fist palms.
Adelheid just like starts laughing. That's such a nice joke.
Darcy just smiles.
Darcy, the agent just rips off the duct tape and gets okay, ow. Darcy, why the fuck am I not surprised?
He just shrugs.
Wait, it's not a joke?
So Emil just puts an arm around Adelheid. Just squinches him like. And
So when
Yep.
when Darcy mentions that he's a Black Spiral Dancer, Lucia would kind of get this kind of look like a almost what's the word I'm looking for? Like a almost defensive, minorly defensive look on his face, like not like he's disgusted or like repulsed by the fact that he's a Black Spiral, but more like concerned. Wary, thank you. And just kind of look Darcy up and down for a minute, and kind of like considering if he's going to be a threat or anything like that.
He just lets him like look him up and down, and he gives him a sweet smile.
You know,
He puts his hands behind his back.
I may have people ask, why is the alpha of this sept? I am standing here with the Black Spiral Dancer in front of me, not kicking him off or killing him even. And the reason is because I realized it was probably a much better idea for me to keep him closer than further.
Tova will nod. She
It's
agrees
just
with
a
that
fact.
sentiment.
I can't, I can only do so much. My hands are tied on certain things involving the forward motion of this nation. And we all agreed that we would those. So I would prefer, if well behaved and willing to work with the septs, that all Garu find a place here.
Emil Raya is wise.
Thank you for reminding me.
Tova's brow goes up.
Thank you for reminding me, Adelheid. You have taught me much today, and I have always been appreciative of that which comes from the mouth of those who are seeing the world with new eyes. He'll nod.
Adelheid wasn't sarcastic, OOC.
No,
He understands. Yeah, he knows the weight of the alpha's shoulders. He's like, if I was an alpha and someone came to me and said Black Spirals now are here, he will be like, well, shit. So he understands. He tries to like use empathy to understand him, and he doesn't like. He's more like sad that Darcy is a lost cause.
Oh!
Oh, damn!
Yeah. You see, Darcy is very insightful, and he picks up on this, and he just shrugs and smiles.
So, Elias walks up to the group, and there's a very similar look on his face as what's in his overlay because it's Elias. And he's
Adelheid goes on one knee.
Elias shakes his head.
Actually, fuck. Emil will actually bow his head to him.
Darcy, seeing like all of this, he actually will bow to. Because
Oh, fuck you. That's the Grand Elder of his tribe. He's not going to disrespect him.
Yeah, even Tova, even though Tova is his twin, she still shows respect to him because that is the great Jarl of her tribe. So,
Yeah, Emil will actually give him a very polite bow of his head and like show his throat to him.
he gives he's still getting used to this. This is weird.
So I'm
but
pretty sure like everybody's bowing in front of him with their
Yeah.
hands.
Yep.
With the exception, ironically enough, of Zhongli for once.
right? Like, he actually gives an appreciative look to Zhongli, like, thank you. But he acknowledges everybody and like just be at ease.
So, Emil Raya, question. How drunk did you get after the World Cup?
He just goes off in French, which I cannot do. You can play Emil for a second if you want. But it's very animated. It's like really animated, okay?
Do it, Nene.
It's like a minute. He just goes off for like a pure minute. So happy.
Do it, Nene. You got this.
You know what? I will actually not stop it, Nene. If you want to
okay.
do it, Nene, you can go off and
Do it. I want to hear this.
I'm trying not to be too loud because my mother is in the next room, but all of a sudden, Emil goes, "Allez les bleus! Allez les bleus!" and just runs. I'll say like full thing, and then goes, "Vive la révolution!" and just stops in the middle of the room.
Perfect.
The great thing is I understood that.
That's exactly what he does. You played the alpha perfectly. Congratulations. And he'll just cross his arms and smile.
Aiden just nods.
Darcy just grins.
Like Elias cracks up a little bit. Like he doesn't actually laugh, but you see a smile across his face. Tove is fucking dying. People will notice that Tove and Elias are kind of opposite of each other. They are fire and ice.
The Adelheid is extremely silent. This is the first time he saw Elias after, like, I think, like the second time, actually. No. They keep seeing each other in the mornings for education, but, like, this is the first social
Yeah.
they saw each other. So, yeah, he is kind of, like, extremely
It's like
silent.
the day after the divorce when you have to have breakfast together. Got it. Never been there. Oh, I'm never there, but I get it.
Oh, fuck me, dead. Elias, he will go up to the new Fenrir and look at him and kind of tilt his head. He has this very icy stare. Definitely, yeah, he has this coldness about him, but it's not. I don't know how to describe it. He's just, yeah, he has Spirit Heritage Snow Queen, so just take that for what it is. But he'll introduce himself to him and say, "I am Elias Nilsson, dated final breath. I am a Hamid, Bayard of the Geta Fenris, elder and great Jarl."
And Lucia will bow his head respectfully, of course. I am Lucia Morgenstern, Hamid, born to the Geta Fenris, Goliath of the nation.
He nods. Nice to see another young Fenrir on Sept. Hopefully I will see more of you. He nods.
Hey, wait a minute. If you guys are twins, how come you don't have the same last name? Are you married? And he'll look to Tova. Is one of you married? Well, he looks to both of them, actually.
She shakes her head and she says, we were separated at birth and I was adopted out.
Oh, alright.
Shortly after.
And he'll nod.
And Elias will nod and say, we didn't find out about each other until a few months ago.
Emil will tilt his head and say, does that mean that you and your husband don't have the same last name? Hashik?
He nods. We both like our last names. Shrugs.
Elias Black, though. He looks at him.
I will concede to Elias Nilsson Black. Yes.
Wow. He just shakes his head playfully.
Tova shakes her head like, oh my god, you pretentious bastard.
Darcy top.
Adelheid in his mind, like Adelheid Trimbenson Black. Okay.
Oh God.
God.
I think Adelheid is going to marry another Trimbenson just so the name doesn't have to change anyway.
Exactly.
Oh Lord.
I will.
No. Saying Adelheid Trimbenson Black means that he's thinking of marrying Sully.
Is there anybody in the set who doesn't think marrying
I
Sully?
swear to God, if Adelheid even looks
Like,
at
for
his
real,
husband
though.
sideways, he will throat the fuck out of him. Like,
Oh my God, not again! You'll summon Sully if you're not careful.
right?
Oh my God. So does anybody know where the warder is so I can beat him soundly? Emil says.
Adelheid is
Darcy
like,
shrugs.
Aiden be like, just a sec, and he'll text the warder, going, oh hey, can you come? Saying with a urgent urgent guardian urgent guardian business.
I cannot believe how hard you're selling your uncle out right now.
It's great. It's such a Petrova thing to do. I'm proud of him.
He'll text back K. Emil just fluffs his hair. Thank you.
Is he coming?
I don't know, Aiden, is he? I'll just
I mean,
look at him with big eyes.
He
Oh
texted
my
that K.
God.
Yes, Aiden?
He texted that K. Also, if he comes, I'm probably going to get my ass kicked for this. But hey, okay, I can go through it.
I am so proud of you. I really expected you to make a joke out of that one.
I know, I was waiting for it.
Lucia's just watching this happen in front of them and just kind of shaking their head like, oh my God.
I just want everyone to imagine. After 1 week, we will witness Aiden, who has not made a pun or joke for 1 week.
And Aiden thinks, and his eyes go big all of a sudden. He's like, wait, does that mean I can't mention my pack's name? I think
Oh
that means I
my.
can't mention. I think that means I can't mention my pack's name.
Shit.
Nope, because that is technically a pun.
He just nods. Ah.
Maybe you can ask Shiraya and say like, hey, Raya, I know my pack's name is a pun, so maybe like I can say, I'm not making this pun, but my pack's name is this, and I'm not making a pun out of this.
Yeah, he nods and actually starts texting his mentor, going, so you know my pack's name, right?
So a minute later, the warder will trot up in Lupus. And Emil will hold his finger up and with the just most gracious, kindest attitude, will just say in French, like, pardon me for a second. Nene, you may say it if you want.
Darcy has his most judgiest face plastered right on there.
If you want
So
to,
he swells up to his. Oh, go say it. Say it while I'm looking for the overlay.
I mean, I don't know what. If you want to send me what he says.
No, he just said, "Excuse me." He said, "Like, pardon me, 1 second." So he grabs this fucking wolf by the neck, like the back of like his scruff in Glabro, and jerks him, like pulls him over to Alex's character. and kind of snarls at him, "Who is this?" And the warder kind of like shakes and tries to get away. And he says, "Tell me who this is." And he just kind of pulls and like tugs, not kind of understanding why. And he said, "Earlier today, this person was at the edge of the Bundeful 30 seconds before anyone answered, and it had to be me." And he basically takes Kratos and throws him down and throats him. And like kind of bites to where he actually does draw blood. And Xenia will like howl and like kind of twist. And he says, "Do you realize what can attack the Sept in 30 seconds? I don't want to realize it, so do your job." And he basically kicks him like away, and he runs.
Darcy just kind of stands there tapping his lip, and he kind of looks at Emil, and he's like, "Do you think you should have told him who cleansed him too?"
Yeah, probably. He'll shift back to Hamid. Kind of brushes his button-up shirt off.
So, how many broken bones am I gonna have because of this?
Shrunk? I don't know.
I guess
think
that's
like
for you to find out later. So Elias was standing there watching this with his arm around his twin, with like this almost smirk on his face. Like, yeah.
Adelaide is like his hands are like how do I say, like attached to each other, like on his like chest, and like he's like, "Yeah, welcome to the Get of Fairness," like, you know, like a Sept ruled by a Get of Fairness, guys. He's like, "Yeah, this." See, yeah, he's like,
God damn it, it's all I ask.
Lucius just kind of stared as this happened with the warder right in front of him, and just kind of shakes his head, going, "You deserved it." Like, he just
Yes!
And then,
my
like,
God.
Darcy
I
when
love
he
it.
does that, like, when he says that,
Smile.
Darcy just, like, spreads his hands out, like, I mean...
Yeah, spread his hands like, ah. You know, Elias just kind of gives a nod, and so does Tova. They kind of like exchange this amused glance with each other.
"Welcome to the Sept."
Emil will look at them and say, "I almost went on point and kicked him in the face, but I thought that would be a little too extra."
Lucia just kind of looks
"Damn
over
it,
at Emil and just starts busting up laughing, like, "Oh my god."
So, as that is said, Johan walks up, and he's like, "Oh, what did I miss?
Me throwing the water.
Oh,
I
see?
know, right? I'm sorry.
Darcy pats Younglee's shoulder whenever Johan walks up.
You also,
Oh, he
Yo.
said he missed Z getting throated. Shit.
you also
I
missed
know,
me
right?
not.
That's why he's apologizing. "I'm sorry you missed me, told him."
Yeah. He's like, "Damn it! I should have showed up 2 minutes earlier."
Oh, beautiful.
I will text you next time, Johan.
Thank you, Adelheid.
You
Appreciate
also,
that.
you also missed me not making a joke for like. How long has it been now, guys?
About
Like,
as long as ... See if he takes the bait.
Oh, I heard about that challenge. Aiden, how are you doing?
He has a fever.
It's.
He has a fever.
He goes, it's, and he's about to see the head starting to form, his lips starting to form the head, and goes, it's difficult.
Darcy, like, just his lips curl, and he's like, "You know, I swear, every time he has any potential to make a joke, he looks like he's about to seize up or he's constipated. And I love it."
Adelaide is like thumbs up when he says like, it's like, you know, like he does, like when he doesn't say hard, Adelaide is like, he thumbs up. He doesn't like say anything. He's just like, "Yeah, good." Continue. It's gonna be good.
Lucia's just kind of watching this happening and like looks between them and looks at Aiden and is like, so what is the nature of your challenge exactly?
I can't make puns or jokes for a week.
Lucia gets this like mischievous grin on his face, like, oh, I wonder how I can mess with this.
Everybody's gonna become a ragabash for a whole fucking week because they want to fuck with him. So Johan smiles to Zhongli, like he recognizes him.
Zhongli nods back politely. So I take it that you've heard my challenge?
I was told that you would like to challenge me for beta of our pack. Yes. Nods.
I look forward to the experience.
He smiles, actually. Me too. The old adage of a ragabashing a file of docs. Should be interesting. I'm not exactly sure what the challenge is yet, but I'll let you know as soon as I know.
Darcy just smiles, looking between them.
Adelaide is like, shit just got real. He doesn't say it, but he has a face like says that.
Yeah, Johan doesn't look put off. Like he actually is welcoming the challenge of it, and yeah.
I recommend it not be a challenge of strength.
Of course. I wasn't planning on it actually.
I would just say, keep in mind the spirit that we're going to follow.
He nods. Smiles.
So loud.
Do what?
So loud. You told him to keep in mind the spirit that we were going to follow. That spirit is loud.
Yes. But also brave and honorable. Just keep in mind the challenge. Keep that in mind for the challenge. Out of character mess up.
I think the sept flourishes when younger Garb can see a good challenge, see the structure that it can bring.
Johan smiles and nods.
I agree, Raya.
So Johan looks to Darcy and he says, so, has anybody given you shit yet?
I've gotten plenty of shit. He winks.
Oh my. He rubs his face. God damn it. I'm sure you have.
My one fear for you and your family is, though this sept has drawn to it those that are very quick to reason, once you leave, you may not find such welcoming presence. There are septs that may attack you or make you wait outside, if they even offer you that dignity. Yes, as a nation, we have been told to honor the law, but I don't think that most people realize that the law only rests on the might of Jonas Albert and now the council. Were one to openly rebel against it, as happened in Bloody Sand and has happened in other places around the globe, it could cost you your life. So that's what I'm worried about. Although you have the freedom to now be more in the open and follow what you see as your true path, you are still also imprisoned to places that only accept you.
There are many septs who keeps Bonars out. There are many septs who keeps Child of Gaia out. Glasswalkers. There are some septs who didn't take Gerda Ferris in the past.
Mm-hmm.
The way I see it, I'm gonna be afraid. I'm gonna be afraid of many things. And I'm gonna have plenty of challenges. But you don't make a change by just waiting around, by hiding away. Even if you are afraid, you have to keep moving forward. So I'll just smile and be as brave as I can be.
The White Howlers used to be some of the fiercest warriors in the nation. Alongside the Fenrir, they fought. The Fenrir and the Howlers were actually very close. But the Howlers were more north than the Fenrir, almost to where the light meets the earth and the sky touches ground. I remember the story of their fall. I was taught it very early in my tutelage. The sept that I did my rite of passage was in the north, far, far, far north. One of the most northernmost septs. Very close to where the Howlers fell. So I remember tales of the Howlers, not so much the Spiral Dancers. I know a couple of their tales, but unfortunately from the other side.
He nods. Well, I would love to hear that sometime.
I've been to the Mild Deep Lake before. The place where the last White Howler elders fell. And Kororok ran to the Fenrir to tell them. Kororok was the last White Howler. Do you all wish to hear a very short tale?
Darcy nods. Looks to everybody else.
Adelaide never refuses a tale.
When the White Howlers had descended into the spiral and begun to fall and lie and was weakening, their mightiest elders took some of the greatest progeny of the tribe to a sept, the Mile Deep Loch. In the north, it was one of their greatest septs. And they held it as a last stand. And to be honest, I think every one of them knew that they weren't going to make it. But they sure as hell weren't going out without a fight. They knew the darkness, the corruption that had twisted their hearts. But none of them could fall to it themselves. Not without a fight. Kororok was a Galliard. He didn't want to leave them. He wanted to fight and die beside them. But the Fenrir had to be warned. So the elders of the tribe, they took their stand on Kororok ran. They broke his heart to run because he considered himself to be in violation of the Sept. They should take no action to cause a current to be violated. He left as the Sept was being overrun. And as it was happening, these great shadows rose from the waters, engulfed the island, and he could hear the din of his kin and his men dying behind him. He ran and ran and ran. One of the shadows reached out, struck his heart as he was running. They managed to make it to the Fenrir Sept, collapsed at their bond. And he said to them, "We have fallen. Lion's roar is broken. We have fallen." And then he turned his clave onto himself, plunged it into his own heart, before the one could take him. And they picked his clave up, and they afforded it a place of honor in their own shrines and buried his body after cleansing it. And that was the last White Halberd. He smiles softly. I've often wondered what happened to that clave. The Sept that I went to was said to have had it, but they said that a worm beast had claimed it during a raid on the Sept, that it had gone missing. He'll shrug. From time to time, some packs quest to find it, but he'll shake his head. No one's ever.
One day, hopefully a hero will find it.
He smiles.
Darcy closes his eyes, thinking. One day.
He yawns gently and smiles. I have my own challenge to see to. I have been convinced by a young rising hero of our tribe to step up and accept a great challenge. So I am off to do so. I have to prepare myself before the task. Meditate, reflect. I can't go before Fenris unprepared.
A rising hero. He smiles softly, and he just thinks of something. A rising Fenris.
So, what did I miss?
Oh my god. I cannot encapsulate everything.
I meant just this immediate thing that he's talking about.
Oh.
Oh, okay. So Elias's brow will go up a little bit, but he doesn't say anything.
The Emil said, like, a young rising hero of our tribe convinced me to do a great deed. And Eli just, like, side smirks when he hears that. Maybe he saw it, maybe he didn't, but that's all I'm saying, Elias.
Yeah, like, Darcy immediately, like, was like, a rising Fenris, a hero. And then he just closed his eyes and smiled softly.
Yeah, Elias just remains silent.
Oh, see, this is the second Jarl I create.
God.
He'll look at Alex one more time. Can you pronounce your character's name? I am dyslexic as hell.
Lucia.
Lucia, got it. Emil will look at Lucia and say, "Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?"
He'll nod. They'll nod rather, and kind of offer a faint smile after listening to the story. He caught most of it, though he seems to have he seems to have a little bit of a confused look, like parts of it he didn't quite understand, or maybe it didn't quite comprehend, or something of that nature. He thinks for a moment, trying to figure out what to say about himself before kind of just shrugging. It's like, I've worked as a private security for a little while, and it's what I do. I protect people, or things in the case of the current work. But and he kind of taps. He takes two fingers on his right hand and taps in the space behind his right ear, and kind of nods a little. I apologize if I seem a bit confused at times when folk are speaking. I have a hard time hearing.
Emil will sign. Do you sign?
Lucia nods and signs back. Yes, I do.
In sign language, he'll say, I had to learn to sign for a very strange reason. But he'll say, in sign language, my pack follows fog, which reveres silence. All of us can speak in sign. We use it during some of our tactics when we can't, when we wish to be silent. And he'll smile.
Lucia will kind of smirk at the reason and nod understanding with the explanation that was offered, and sign back.
He's probably not saying everything, by the way, because he just did admit that it's a secretive totem.
Yeah. And he just kind of signs back, thank you, and thank you. I appreciate that. And he'll speak plainly, like, I appreciate that, and I am happy to speak. I tend to sign when I'm having trouble hearing. It comes and goes from time to time.
He'll ask him, both speaking and using sign, would you prefer when we're speaking for me to sign with you? Or do you just want me to speak to you?
Signing and speaking at the same time would be preferable. So just in case I miss something, of course.
He'll say okay. Like, he'll sign okay and speak it.
Johan will make a note of that. He is a linguist and he knows sign language. So he'll make a note of that.
Darcy notes that too, because linguist.
Right.
Emil will say, he'll make a mental note, but he'll also say here, if anybody wishes to learn sign language to help if anybody wishes to learn, I'm sure Johan would be because he knows Johan knows sign language, would be willing to help.
Yeah. Johan nods. And he'll sign as he speaks and say, I have a master's degree in linguistics. I can help teach anybody a lot of things that they want to know, but I can definitely teach sign language if people are interested.
I know many languages, but I don't know sign language, so I'd like to learn.
He'll say, I unfortunately don't have the time to dedicate to teaching others sign language right now, but I can help out.
Well, I would imagine so. You are the alpha of the sept. He smiles.
Put two fingers close together. Like that might take up a little bit of his time. Yes. Between that and classes, family life, yes.
Didn't I hear that you're also a dance instructor?
Yes. And a choreographer.
Lucia, you're extremely lucky. You have two elder Garu of your tribe who are like examples. One Afro who's known by many and an Adrian who is loved by many. We have a lot of examples in this sept to look after and learn. I don't have a lot of things to teach, but if you need anything or place to stay or anything else, I will be there for my tribe mate.
This sept has had a complicated history with the Fenrir. I'm hoping to help to change that. And I want us to move forward from the past that complicated things for us. And we have a strong base now. Yeah, hashtag Trimminson. Thanks.
Adelheid says that.
Yeah, he'll smile and say, I think we have a strong base to do that now. And he'll look at Elias like with a warm and admiring smile.
Elias will nod. Thank you.
Lucia will nod his thanks to the offer to help others learn to sign, and among other things, and, as well as to the troubled past that the sept has had with Fenrir. And he'll kind of think about it for a moment, for just kind of quietly just offering a nod of acknowledgement. Well, the past is past. Moving forward is what matters.
Speaking of moving forward, he'll smile and he'll kind of give them a nod, and he will exit.
So I do have to go. So I'm going to end the scene here. We can assume that people will bring Lucia into the sept proper, show him around, and give him a place to stay.
Yes, Queen.
So thank you, players, for playing, and thank you, watchers, for watching. We will see you next time. Goodbye.